Hey, what's going on, y'all? So I have decided to stop reading this report. And I've actually come to a conclusion. And I'll just say that if the information in this report is true, then the police were justified in going to Breonna Taylor's home to actually search for, any signs of criminal activity. But therein lies a problem. The report itself has to be true. And we're looking at a situation now, and I actually just found out about this a couple of days ago. I've been meaning to create a video on it, that documents that were used to actually get the warrant was fabricated. They used false information or misleading information to get the warrant. So now we have an even bigger problem, because not only should they not have had a no-knock warrant, but they should not have a warrant to begin with. And I have a video clip. I'm going to go ahead and play that video clip, and I'll let you guys comment on it and let me know what you think. But here, it basically brings in question the credibility of the police. If the police is not credible, then we can't really trust this police report. And another problem with reading this report is that it's not an independent investigation, right? We don't know when this report was generated. We don't know if this report was generated before Breonna's death or after Breonna's death. And even if it was generated after Breonna or before Breonna's death, we don't know if it's been tampered with. So that's not the main reason I'm just going to stop reading this report. I'm just going to go ahead and say, again, if the information is true, there's no reason for me to read further, because all the stuff that we've already read basically shows that there was justification for going to Breonna's home. But again, we're relying on the credibility of the police force, and that credibility has already been questioned. It's suspect at this point. And the fact of the matter is, they didn't find any drugs, they didn't find any guns, they didn't find anything at Breonna Taylor's home. So when it comes down to, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and play the clip, and then I'll come back and give my final commentary.
Hours of video, hundreds of pictures, and stacks of documents. We continue to sift through the Breonna Taylor case file released by the city earlier today.
Tonight, WDIV's Chad Mills examines the questions that police investigators had for that detective who applied for the warrant. Chad.
Guys, in a newly released interview, part of those materials, Detective Joshua Janes, who you see right here, says he's convinced a drug trafficking subject had ties to Taylor's apartment, but police investigators say he was misleading in the warrant he drew up to search it. This interview from May is shedding more light on the warrant that led to the March raid at Breonna Taylor's Springfield Drive apartment and the man who applied for the search warrant, LMPD Detective Joshua Janes.
This investigation was kind of conglomerate all of us together doing this. So my name was on the search warrant because I probably had the most experience in that group of writing and drafting search warrants.
Janes said a large-scale investigation focused on a crime hotspot tied suspected drug trafficker Jamarcus Glover to the home of his ex-girlfriend Taylor.
Is that they get other people involved, and it's usually females. It's usually baby mamas or a child in common, or it's girlfriends that they can trust. They can trust them with their money and their stuff.
Janes says undercover officers snapped these pictures on January 16th of Glover at Taylor's apartment with a package in hand. And in his affidavit for a search warrant, Janes said he verified through a U.S. postal inspector that Jamarcus Glover has been receiving packages at Taylor's home. And it's that claim that's attracted attention for months, as some accuse Janes of seeking the warrant using false information, because the postal inspector's office has since said it never said that.
Was it the way that you worded that specific bullet point in your affidavit? Was it your intent to mislead the reviewing judge?
No, not at all. And like I said, I could have worded a little bit differently in there.
It was Shively Police that served as middleman between LMPD and the postal inspector, and two of its officers interviewed say they told LMPD in January that no suspicious packages were being sent to Taylor's apartment for Glover. And Shively Sergeant Tim Sawyer says he told Janes the same thing in April, a month after the shooting.
Yeah, it seemed odd. Okay. I mean, this was, I don't know how you say it without saying it looks like you're trying to cover your ass, is what it appears to me.
The Public Integrity Unit concludes in a newly released summary, quote, investigators believe the wording on the affidavit is misleading, but given Jane's statement related to the information, should be reviewed for criminal actions.
While Attorney General Daniel Cameron's office did not present evidence on the possible false information in the search warrant, there is an ongoing federal investigation. Read more from our Jason Riley on WDRB.com. Chad Mills, WDRB News.
Okay, so you've seen the clip. So I'm just going to say this. When it comes down to whether or not someone should be indicted, I'm just going to go ahead and say that's going to depend on whether or not information was falsified to get the warrant in the first place. If the information was falsified or purposely misleading, then someone needs to go to jail. It's just that plain and simple. The judge is relying on the information that you're giving him. If you're giving the judge misleading information, then you should go to jail for that, because at the end of the day, someone died as a result of you misleading the judge. They should have never had a warrant to begin with, let alone a no-knock warrant. So that's it. That's it. That's my opinion. Again, obviously, the information that we've read so far, if it's true, obviously, Breonna Taylor should have been investigated. It's unfortunate that she died. But on the other hand, it looks like the credibility of the police force is at question here. And because the credibility of the police force is at question, there has to be an independent investigation to determine whether or not they should have even had the warrant. And if the judge was giving misleading information, or if misleading information was given to get the warrant, then people should have to go to jail. Plain and simple. That's it for this video. Please like, share, and subscribe.